Hi, I'm Light Death. That was my real name. My name is Adam Snowflake. I used to sound like this and go by Light Death. The history is that I am a reality shifter. I am from alternate realities as a game I do sometimes. Um, the history is I am from reality 2.5C 1BA, or just 1A, as we like to say, because there's no difference. 1BA, if you have to specify it, means you're saying this for alternate realities as well, and that's actually what B means if you have to list alternate realities, or that is reality shifting adjacent as to why you are stating you are 1A in any way for a reality, or its correlation to reality 2.5C. And the history of that is that I am from that reality and currently living in real time a doomed timeline. As you see, my eyes just got darker. That's like impossible. Doomed timelines are never felt by anyone. I have memories of alternate reality and doomed and tortured timelines I have been, and I didn't just have three as a one off. I just have had that happen because reality shifting is a scientific method of experimentation. It is real. What is reality shifting? Reality shifting is visiting alternate realities and going to them. It's hanging out there. I am the guy who made Insanity the ARG and Purgatory ARG that captured everything from Bible footage to God documentaries documenting all the real proof of real religions as mutations and science behind them. From the Bible, which was a historical document when I did it, to like the history of Egyptian gods. And I thought it was really cool, but it had to be an analog doing it because of what would that would entail. And analog means it's real photos and proteos of magic that are provable and explained. But oh god, that's so fun with a unicorn. No, it's a it's a horse that looks pretty with a disorder on its head. And we have the science now behind it. No, it's a unicorn. And like that's like the history of what an analog is. And it's kind of cool that they exist. Um the history of alternate realities and everything about them is just kind of they make some crazy shit and they're kind of weird to be in. I am a documented, provable time traveler and reality shifter. And the science behind your theory is that you can't lie about that. Like, you can't lie about being a god or stealing a god's name because there's something called lifts and resides. It means there's too many traces and imprints from past ancestors of humanity if you identify as human at all or are human adjacent in a human fleshy meat skin that you can't physically, if you have a brain or have something that emulates it, lie about those notions and concepts, but can accidentally think you are and come across as bad translations of it, or the history of why it's Wapadockisms and things of that nature, if no, that's hyper specific. The history of Doom timelines is that they create some pretty cool stuff, hence the Van Gogh stickers on my computer and the wireless headphones that actually work as to why we have that every timeline, but oh god, are they not standard? And they were in a lot of alternate realities I've been to. And the history of them and how you get cool clothes that cling to your body a certain way. And alternate realities are fine. They always expire and or have a copy of themselves that are doomed. What is remedia? Doomed or bad ending timeline media that one day there will be a trace on humans if they find out that'll just kind of know, like in the way of Dracula. Remedia is, oh, I guess I kind of know it's like alternate reality if it ended or was bad or something, whatever. And like that's the extent most people know it. No, it's capturing those on evidential cameras, alternate timelines and media. We always have remedia. There's even doomed timeline streams and applications to do it, but you have to agree to be a spirit for those religions and even if you don't practice or worship their gods, you just kind of have to agree to do science labels, and spirit is actually historically one of them. And the history is we do have proof and videos and evidence of alternate timelines thanks to somebody historically named Olive Bone Brimstone, who is my father. Olive Brimstone is a historical first ever world's provable reality shifter that wasn't me. He had photos, he had videos, he had evidence, as Booster Gold was the first time traveler next to John Pond. John Pond is my alias. I was the world's first time traveler under the name John Pond, and I was a version of the book Mantle Olive Brimstone The history is I had a father I gave the name to. We were the world's first provable time travelers, and Booster Gold is my old alias. And so, in a lot of nations that don't have these things documented, including America often, or because it's reburied as to why it's creepy and weird and we shouldn't advance that far, and we know a lot about that as humans and why it's not good, even if we have to be stupid, intelligent people to study it, is that alternate realities exist. Remedia, spelled REME, media, is media from doomed timelines. Period. And it's creepy that you have to have a title after it to specify which ones you documented. Remedia, Am I Happy? Is the timeline I filmed this in and documented in. Sometimes at the end of an eon, we all feel a doomed timeline, and then we get to steal all those moments from media from what went wrong in alternate realities if we look up YouTube certain tags weird, or if we played something called The Game, a deification ritual, 75 fucked up human torture rituals self-inflicted, and 3 rapes not self-inflicted that happen when you do it, to become a living test tube for nuclear protons and noons, causing true immortality or temporarily whirlpools of it in systems of oceanic dust, ring, and life states. So you keep coming back from the dead over and over again with historical events and notion of media and environment, or you live forever but kind of become such a weird hermit no one ever thinks about it and other weird things about you, or you live in like only Paris, France forever, like Thomas Sanders. And the history of it is you're always remembered as dead. Uh, Especially under your real name, Thomas Sanders. Even though I'm not Thomas Sanders. I did go by his name as Light, his son. And the histories, I have never had a Light Yagami YouTube channel I now have access to, but I have full memories of it. Because as a reality shifter with an Okno style reality shifting, which means I have to do all of it and get extras of all the bad things as well, I just kind of have YouTube channels from every time I've done it, and Light Yagami is one of them. YouTube.com in all realities has alternate reality media on it. The history is there's always something to indicate it in the title unless you're living in one of those alternate realities, as to like parentheses reality blank and then a stupid name. I kid you not. Alternate realities do just happen again. It just is not even an alternate timeline. They just continue where they left off without those events, but it doesn't count as an alternate reality because it's a catch-all term for them. Sometimes we just have that stuff undocumented, as to why my hair is this color. And the history is I know a lot about alternate realities because I invented reality shifting and methods for it. The only way to really do reality shifting is by doing the spaceship method or agreeing to be reborn there and or flabbergasted. If you want to visit the main timeline that all other timelines are derivative of, as to why I have to used to say that in my videos and we have proof of that, you could just go and do those things. I'm never sorry about lying about my age on the internet. It's the internet. But yeah, in general, people could just like be in alternate realities and have weird stuff happen because they were there. And we sometimes capture it, and it's always a media term and then other terms, and we don't always call it me media or paint it in that weird blue filter. That's like a flavor of Enoch for it, based off 20th century Goliath America in Murder and How She Wrote This by my writing styles of penmanships. And you always add extra stuff about how writing is to signify that time period. And we don't always even call it writing. We don't call it writing forever. It's just what they called it. And that was like the scribbling and writing down stuff forever. And this video's in common, so it's always updated. But they called it writing and me. And if you're like, that's stupid, you should have to specify this. We forever call it videos. We forever call it YouTube. We forever call it alternate realities. We don't always use the term me. It was replaced. We didn't always use the term goth. It was replaced. Emo never did get replaced, and neither did certain kinds of punk, but the term punk changed as well. I am very good at tracking reality and history, so I know what gets replaced and what doesn't, as to why this was an alternate reality necklace that I got in an alternate reality that I have in all realities. But I have now access to my Light Yagami YouTube channel. That's cool. Gonna post this there. It has all these playlists I never made, including ones about Morgan, and I'm like, that's so strange. This is my room. And yeah, There's a piece of my fish. Anyways, so yeah, just enjoy this playlist and these compilations. You see this before because there's lifts and traces that say sometimes you have to acknowledge it, or doomed timeline media intros to those videos forever for really good reasons, unless it's stated on like a YouTube channel. We do have something I invented called Waverly Sets as to what YouTube's and videos became. It just always isn't in that flavor or form, but it replaced cable, and it was very good that it did. And the history is anyone can make a Waverly set. It's actually very easy to make that kind of cable. You could just do a computer app or join a forum, and you never even have to pay for the media. It's really nice and fun to do. You just need permission for like it, so you get the videos in boatloads or off YouTube eventually. And the history is on Waverly sets, you are allowed to just air alternate reality media without saying, but you can't air too much of it, and it has to have a filter that is clear it's alternate reality media. And like that's the history there. And it's like things look different in alternate realities. These historically did not look like this as ramen noodles. They only existed in alternate reality, and I loved them. Chow mein never historically was a shitty ass ramen cup noodles that you could eat. And it's really cool that even though ramen and cup noodles were faded out from looking like that, that if you knew anything about what that historically is supposed to look like where you're from, that is indicative of alternate realities alone. Oh god, yeah. And so how it went. So we have 3 days at the end of the first ever Eon, 20th century American Goliath, as to why finding that media or time periods that emulate that media is always me media. This version for what I'm showing you is on my video, even though this is edited as a jump cut on other people, so it doesn't say this part. And that's an alternate reality, that's just planned in all realities. Is Am I Happy timeline. As that was the reality all me media got as one of its main flavors at the end of the Eon. We get to live 3 days in a Doom timeline and see all other shit, but it's harder to find for most people. Some people are just really good at visiting those places and capturing all that stuff about it. And the Sunshine Family never retired as my friends. We're just kind of weird with how we classified it when I was having emotional breakdowns every day. It clings to my body like this as a t-shirt. That's so weird. And I looked like this here. I do just live in alternate realities as Adam without being a coma or a carrot. That is one type of it that we built after the original timeline. You could just start to visit. This phone has 3 cameras on it and is a smartphone slick IS. Bye.